Peace and blessings, family. This is a brother Shareef with the Hour of Power. Go to Hour of Power, Shareef Hamid on YouTube, subscribe and share so we can continue to lift the mind, body, and soul of our people. If you're tuning in on Facebook Live, hit the share button and hit watch party so we can invite a few more people in to this message. Hit the share button and hit watch party. I promise I won't be long, but I also promise that I'll have some jewels to share with you that will hopefully benefit myself and benefit you and your family in this walk that we call life. So hit the share button and hit watch party, and we'll go on and get started. So first I want to thank all the guests. I'm not going to name any names because when you do that, you always forget someone, and that's the last thing I want to do. Is forget anyone, but I just want to thank all the guests that made the Hour of Power possible in 2019. We had many people from many different walks of life, male and female, different religions, different faiths, different ideologies, but every guest that I had offered something that could benefit our community. That's what the Hour of Power is about. So no matter what their faith was, what their ideology was, what they called God or whatever, every single guest brought something to the table that could benefit our people if you listen long enough. Every single one of them. Again, I'm not going to say any names. We talked about politics. We talked about our health. We talked about business, whether their business, whatever it was. Every single guest brought something to the table that they're currently doing in this community, to help our people. So if y'all can help me, if God spares me, going into 2020 to continue to bring people on that can help us in 2020. If you can please refer them to me, have them inbox me. If you know my phone number, have them text me so we can keep this train going into 2020. They're doing something business-wise, health-wise. I've been going hard on that, about our health. And I know some of these conversations are unhealthy, not unhealthy, but uncomfortable. But they're conversations that are very much needed. So send them my way. If you know someone doing something positive in the community, have them contact me so we can get them on the show for 2020. Right here in this area, it's not too many people that has an outlet where we could come on there and speak our piece to the people. We don't have that many media outlets, so we need to keep it going, and hopefully I still have your support. But what I wanted to briefly talk about tonight is my journey. People may not understand it, but it's my story. December 31st of 1993, before that, I had met some wonderful people here in York, PA, and particularly a good brother of mine by the name of Abdul Mohammed. He's like a brother to me. I met him in about the 4th or 5th grade right here in York, PA. Him and his family was Muslim. I was going to Catholic school at that time, and I went into their home and I observed them, how they lived and carried themselves. And I had the pleasure of meeting his mother and his father, Sister Shahida and Brother Salim. May she rest in peace. And I observed them, how they carried themselves, how they lived their life. They lived an Islamic life, a Muslim life. And I said, man, this is different. And they took me in right away as one of their own, meaning Sister Shahida and Brother Salim and the rest of their family. Nadia, Sabria, Samia, Sadia, Sadiqa. That's their family. They took me in as one of their own when I needed that the most at that time. I needed a mother in my life. I needed a family and someone who accepted me the way that I was and who I was. I desperately needed that, and they recognized that, and they took me in. It wasn't until almost 10 years later, because remember when I met them, I was only 9, 10 years old. They immediately adopted me and took me in because I needed that. I needed that nurturing, that love, and that guidance in my life. They took me in. They adopted me. So when I was almost 20, after almost 8, 9 years of observing them, and again, hit the share button and hit watch party. When I was almost 20, I started asking real serious questions of my brother, Abdul. And I said, man, what is this that y'all are doing? What is it about? And he said, man, it's really serious, but it'll change your life. So I immediately started asking deep questions about the religion of Islam. And some people said, well, what was it about Christianity or the Bible that you didn't like, that you had to go that route? It wasn't about that. It was about a message that resonated with me, that started bringing about real change in me and in the influence that I was getting from them. And one thing that people don't understand is, and hear me on this, I'm not trying to convert you. I couldn't do it if I wanted to. That's up to God. He changes the hearts of man. We may be used as vessels, but he changes hearts, not us. It resonated with me at a time that I was really lost. And this was around the early 90s when consciousness was coming about, and I just wasn't getting no answers anywhere else. And I started watching Malcolm X and listening to Minister Farrakhan. But they gave me a message of peace that really stuck with me. And again, they showed me love, meaning the Mohammed family. So December 31st, 1993, I decided to convert to the religion of Islam. No more drinking. I've never taken drugs. No more taking drugs. Respect your women. Make your prayers. And put God first. Him and only him. That's what I was taught. And December 31st, 1993, which in a couple days will make 26 years exactly, that's when I converted to Islam. I put on a new coat. I took off the old coat and I put on a new coat. Does that mean that I became perfect? No. But it's something I was striving for and still am striving. I don't know where I would be without this message. It changed my life. I put on a new coat. And I can't thank my good brother Abdul, his father Salim, and his mother, who I call mother in Arabic, Omi, Sister Shahida, who unfortunately October the 10th of this year, she passed away, meaning Sister Shahida, Omi, who was very, very instrumental in helping me change my life. I don't know where I would be without her. She was like a mother to me. She just didn't birth me. That's the only difference that distinguishes her from being my mother, is I didn't come out of her birth canal. I miss her dearly. We used to have conversations after conversations, and the guidance and the love and the nurturing that she gave to me for 37 years. For 37 years of my life, this woman guided me, nurtured me, and introduced me to the message that I still follow to this day. I'm not going to deliberately hurt you because of this message. I'm not going to steal from you because of this message. I'm always going to respect you because of this message, and I put God first. Do I make mistakes? Of course I do. But I'm not going to deliberately hurt you or disrespect you. No matter what you call yourself or don't call yourself, you are a product and a creation of God. Even an animal, we are supposed to show respect to animals. Don't want them in our house, but we're supposed to show them respect because they are creatures of God. Oh man, that Muslim stuff. Yeah, but a lot of people don't understand that it's right in synchronization with a lot of what Christianity teaches. But Satan strives to cause division. He strives to cause division. And don't go for the okie doke. Don't go for the Hollywood stuff. If it's something you want to know about Islam or this religion because you can't get away from it, investigate it yourself. Don't go off of what the news or what Hollywood tells you. Look at it yourself. Pick up the Quran and read it yourself. You will find many of what we believe is right there in the Bible. Mainly that God is one. And I'm gonna end this out. We base the faith off of 5 pillars. Belief that God is one in his messenger. That God is one. No Trinity, but that God is one. It's right there in the Bible. Go to Genesis with the 10 commandments that came from Moses. What did he say? What is the first commandment? Hear, O Israel, there's only one God that you should respect and reverence. Hear, O Israel, there is only one God. That is the first commandment. Not 3 gods, not no Trinity, not no Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. One God. That's what the first commandment of the 10 commandments say. And it hasn't changed. All throughout the whole Bible, it talks about God being one. And in John 14:28, Jesus said that God sent him who is greater than I. That's what it says. That's what Jesus said. He said God sent him who is greater than I. And you'll get some people try to put some twist on it. That's enough for me. He said God sent him and God is greater than I. And then one time a man tapped him on the shoulder, said, "Oh, master, how great are you?" He said, "No, only the Father is great who sent me." So right then in 2, 3, 4 countless places, Jesus made a separation between him and the Most High. Who was running this earth before Jesus got here? Who was making the sun rise and set and bringing rain upon the earth and hail and storms and bringing light and bringing darkness and putting food on this earth before Jesus got here? Because remember, just the other day, we supposedly celebrated his birth, December 25th, which shows he had a beginning. Even though it's not December the 25th, more like in September. But he had a beginning. He came upon this earth just like you and I did through the birth canal of a woman, as we know as Mary. Who was running this earth before Jesus got here if he's God? Do you have the answer to that? He was a man just like me and you, a great man who we call a prophet, but he was not God. By his own admission and through many verses in the Bible. God is one. He sits alone on the throne with no partners. That's the first pillar of Islam. The second is prayer. We pray 5 times a day. 5 times a day. And we must cleanse ourselves physically and spiritually before we make our prayers. The third pillar is charity, given to those in need. The fourth is fasting in the month of Ramadan, where we fast for 30 days during daylight hours. and stay away from arguing and fighting, and we purify ourselves. And the fifth pillar is making at least one trip to Mecca, which we call Hajj. Those are the 5 pillars of Islam that we base our faith off of. And many other teachings, about 700 commandments in the Quran. A book that I advise you to read so you can get clarity for yourself, so you're not going off of what Hollywood talks about and tries to portray us as terrorists and villains, when in actuality, they're the real terrorists and villains. Just look around. Look how they have military bases all throughout this planet in other people's land, which they have no business being there. They're not spreading love and peace and Christianity. They're spreading terror and dominance and oppression. But they want to paint us as the terrorists. No, they're the terrorists. And they try and instill terror and falsehood in you so you will stay away from this message that they fear. So I humbly ask you to look this message up and investigate it for yourself. And you come up with your own determination. And if you still want to do what you do, whatever it is you do, that's your right. Because we have no business forcing our belief on no one. If you see a Muslim, or if you see Muslims on TV or wherever trying to force someone upon our belief, they wrong. Because in the Quran it says there's no compulsion in religion, meaning we can't force anyone to do anything. We want sincere hearts. So how you gonna force someone? If you force someone, it's not of their will. It won't be sincere anyway. So the Quran says there's no compulsion. I'm just asking you. I'm just advising you. Look it up for yourself. Don't go off of what Hollywood says. Look it up for yourself. Pick up the book. It ain't gonna cost you a dime. Meaning the Quran, and say, let me see what they say about terrorism. Let me see what it says about respecting other religions and respecting other faiths. Let me see what it says about having more than one wife. And all these controversial things that they try to lay on us that's already been here before us. Terror was here before Islam came here. Have you ever heard of the transatlantic slave trade? That was here before Islam was here. So terror and oppression has always been here. People, almost every ethnic background and religion, practice polygamy, meaning having more than one wife. That ain't start with Islam. Read your Bible. Judaism was here first, Christianity, then Islam. Islam is the baby of the 3 faiths. So how we start polygamy? It said Solomon had 700 wives. And I've never read in the Bible where it says it was forbidden to have more than one wife. All backgrounds, all faiths, all ethnic groups have practiced polygamy way before Islam. We didn't start that. We just perfected it. We just gave the women their rights and brought about a way where it's done the right way. But it also says you can have up to 4 wives, but if you can't do justice upon all of them, one is better if you only knew. Did you hear what I said? The Quran says you can take on 4 wives, but if you can't equally do justice to all 4, one is better if you only knew. So it's telling you, one is better if you only knew. I believe in polygamy, but it has to be done the right way, not in a lustful way to use women as sex objects and toys. That's not the meaning of it. But you can read all these things in the book in Islamic literature if you want to know the truth. But this is what has changed my life. This is what has made me a better person. It's my testimony. And this December 31st, God willing, to make 26 years that I converted to Islam. And then a couple months after I converted, which was March of 1994, I officially changed my name. My name used to be Eric Howard. But then in 1994, when it was much easier, I went to the courts here in New York and I changed my name to Shareef Idris Hamid, which was given to me by my Omi and my Abba, Sister Shahida. May she rest in peace. May God forgive her for her sins and grant her paradise. And peace and blessings to my Abba, which means father in Arabic, Brother Salim. They introduced me along with my brother Abdul to Islam, and I changed my name. And your name in Islam should come out to a short phrase that you should live up to. You hear what I say? Your name, if you're Muslim, should come out to a short phrase that you should live up to. Shareef means honorable. Idris means teacher. That's what I'm doing now. And Hamid means one who praises God. So what's that short phrase? An honorable teacher who praises God. An honorable teacher who praises God. Every Muslim name should come out to a short phrase that you, every single day, every action that you should live up to. So you can't be a Muslim and because all the names come up to attributes of God. You can't be a Muslim and be drinking beer and smoking weed. You can't be a Muslim and be beating women. You can't be a Muslim and be gossiping. You can't be a Muslim and don't honor and respect Jesus and all the other prophets that came before and after him. Did you hear what your brother said? In case you see some Muslims and they doing some shaky stuff, but then they want to be judgmental of you and your family. Does that mean that we perfect? No. But you should live up to your name. No, we don't be smoking no weed and drinking no alcohol and worshiping pagan holidays. No, Muslims don't do that. But if you don't get nothing out of what I said, you cannot be a Muslim and don't honor and respect Jesus. It is a whole chapter in the Quran named after his mother, Mary. It's called Maryam, chapter 19. It's actually mosque in the United States and in the world named after either Jesus or his mother, Mary. It's a mosque, Maryam, in Chicago. It's where Minister Farrakhan teaches, named after the mother Mary. So how can we hate or not honor or respect Jesus? And it's a whole chapter in the Quran named after his mother. And Jesus is named in the Quran countless times. We call him the Messiah, the chosen one. But he's not God. We do not believe that he is God. Only God is God, and he sits on the throne alone, and he has no partners. We don't believe in no Trinity, no Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Those are attributes of God. He has a lot of attributes. He's the Redeemer. He's the Forgiver. He's the Healer. He's all that and some. But he's not three persons in one. He's one God. He's not three in one. That math don't, where's that math work? 3 in 1. No. He's God and God alone, and he sits on the throne alone. He has many attributes, many ways that he functions that only he can do. But he don't got 3 personalities. Ain't no 3 wrapped up in one. We do not believe in that. That is a very serious statement to make. Actually, in Islam, and then I'll be finished, it's called shirk. It's an Arabic word, shirk. Shirk means associating partners with God. And it is the only sin that God won't forgive. That's what we believe in Islam. I'm going to say it again. Shirk. S-H-I-R-K. An Arabic word that means associating partners with God. Putting other things, other entities, other persons on the level as God, as if they are God. It's called shirk. Polytheism. And we believe if a person lives upon that and dies upon shirk, it is the only sin that God won't forgive. God will forgive murder, theft, whatever. But he will not forgive associating partners with him. We believe it's the greatest sin and it's unforgivable, but God will forgive anything else. That's our belief. We do not believe in associating partners with God and putting human beings on the level of God. So you mean to tell me, Brother Shareef, that y'all don't believe that Muhammad is God? Absolutely not. He was not God. He was a prophet of God, but he wasn't God. He lived till he was 63 years old and he died just like everyone else. He's gone, meaning Muhammad, the prophet. We don't believe he was God. He was a human, and he told us that. He said, I'm a human just like you. So we believe anyone that walked this earth was a human being, not worthy of worship because they were sent here and created by God. And Jesus said it himself. He said, I was sent by the Father who is greater than I. Greater than I. Hear, O Israel, back to the 10 Commandments. There's only one God. And you shouldn't make any graven images or liken images of him. This is in a book. So I don't know why people are looking at us sideways when we say one God. Because it's in the Bible, and Jesus and every other prophet that came before or after him said there's only one God. No other prophet taught anything else. Moses, who brought the law, said, Hear, O Israel, there's only one God. Isaiah, Abraham, the father of monotheism, one God. I can't thank God enough for introducing me to this message. If I've ever done anything to you that's contrary to what I say, I apologize for my mistake, and anything I can do to fix it or rectify it. It ain't about me, it's about what I follow. Please let me know. Before I sign out, it's not many people on, but that's okay, because if I have enlightened one person, and there was more than one person on here, I know I have done my job. If I've pricked someone's thinking and consciousness and helped someone think beyond themselves, I know I've done my job. If I've enlightened someone just a little bit where there's darkness, I know I have done my job. Before I sign off, does anyone have any questions about anything that I've said this year on the Hour of Power, but in particularly this message tonight? We don't gotta agree, as long as we're respectful. Does anyone have any questions that may have been in your mind? And we don't gotta agree about Islam, something you may have seen on TV. Man, what's that about them? I don't know. Are they terrorists? Do they hate Christians? Do they hate people? How can I become a Muslim? Who can be a Muslim? Is God one? Who's Allah? What's this business about y'all having more than one wife? Anything that has given you trouble or you have questioned while I'm on here, do you have any questions for your brother? I'm not no scholar. I'm just your brother. But I've learned a little something over my 26 years in this journey that has helped change my life for the better. I'm not perfect, but I don't know where I would be without it. That's my story. Does anyone have any questions, any concerns, anything that you have seen or heard or wondered about this faith, this religion, which we call Islam, which, by the way, is the fastest growing religion in this country? Somehow, some way, you're going to interact with us. Somehow, some way. I ain't asking you to convert. I just said, do you have any questions before I sign off? Because I want to make sure I'm doing my job. I respect you either way. And again, if I've ever done anything that's outside of what we believe, if I've ever done or said anything to offend you, I apologize. But if I offended you speaking truth, I don't apologize. But if I've done anything morally that's outside of what we preach, what we believe in, and it's hurt your feelings or made you wonder, let me know. Because it's our duty. We are duty bound to be kind and respectful to our fellow man, no matter who they are, what they profess. That is our duty. And we are to live this. It really ain't a religion. It's a way of life. It's our nature. That's what we believe. We believe it's always been here, meaning Islam. It's just Prophet Muhammad from 1500 years ago. He defined it for us. He showed us the way at that time and into the future. But we believe it's always been here. It's our nature. Islam, the religion, so to speak, if you want to call it that, that means peace. That's what it means. So there's no way that you can be a peaceful terrorist. So get that BS out of your head. How can you be a peaceful terrorist? Islam means peace. Muslim is one who submits his will to God. Islam, the religion, means peace. And Muslim is one who submits his will to God. We believe the animals, the birds, are Muslim because they submit in their will to the Most High. We believe it's a way of life. A way of life that we should be living and spreading every day, not by the sword, not by forcing anyone, but just by us following God and following the commandments that Him and all the prophets that He sent unto the earth gave us. Moses gave us the Torah, Jesus gave us the gospel, and we believe Muhammad gave us the last and final message, the Quran. Does anyone have any questions? Does anyone have any questions? None? Okay. Well, again, finishing out, I want to thank all my guests who came on the Hour of Power in 2019. If you know of anyone who is doing something positive in the community, please send them my way so we can have another powerful year with the Hour of Power in 2020, God willing. The show comes on every Wednesday on Channel 16 Local Access TV if you're in the York, Pennsylvania area, and it streams live on Facebook at 8 p.m. every Wednesday. I do these sort of podcasts Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever comes on my mind, whatever comes to my mind that I believe I received from the Most High and the real Holy Spirit, I share it. But I always have my references and I always bring a logic to whatever topic it is. Last week we talked about our health, the benefit of the avocado, the estrogen that is in the Burger King burger. That was some of our topics. So we try to cover a lot of different topics that is going to help lift the mind, body, and soul of our people. That's what we do on the podcast. Someone expressed a concern, man, your messages are sometimes so rough, and we see so much sadness in the news, lighten up a little bit. I understand, but I have two different platforms if you're really watching. I have the Wednesday platform, which we talk about business. We talk about people's accomplishments and how their business and their life can benefit others. That's the little on the lighter side, but it's still knowledge. That's one version of the Hour of Power every Wednesday at 8 p.m. on Channel 16 and streaming live on Facebook, like I just mentioned. But the podcasts, like this one, that's the uncut, raw version of the Hour of Power. That's the uncut, raw version of the Hour of Power. But it's still going to be with love and knowledge, and I'm always going to have my references to back up anything that I'm saying. I'm not going to tell you how I feel or what I think. I'm going to have some knowledge and some references to back up everything that I'm saying. Now, tonight was just a personal testimony of how I came into this message that we call Islam. But even then, anything that I said about like the 5 pillars, belief in God and his messenger, prayer, charity, fasting, and the trip to Hajj, which we call the 5 pillars of Islam, you can go right to the Quran and look that up. You can Google it. You can Google the 6 articles of faith, which I didn't talk about, but it's other beliefs that we have: belief in the angels, belief in all the prophets. You can't be a Muslim without believing in Jesus. We are not against Jesus. We are not against Christianity. We are not against the Bible. You have to accept the books and accept Jesus to be a true Muslim. The thing is, we don't believe Jesus is God, and we believe in the truth in the Bible. Anything that is not in synchronization with God and his prophets, we discard it. But we believe in Jesus, and we believe in the truth in the Bible. The truth in it. If it don't match up with God, if it's trying to tell you there's 3 gods in one, no sir. If it's trying to, or someone's trying to switch the word and make you believe that a man is God or on equal plane with God, no sir. That is shirk, which means associating partners with God, and an unforgivable sin in Islam, associating partners with God, putting someone or something on the same level and reverence as God. He stands alone, and the Bible backs us up in this, and Jesus backs us up in this. He said, I was sent by the Father who is greater than I. Hear, O Israel, God is one, and don't make no graven images of him. No such thing as Christmas. We don't know when Jesus was born. Show me one Bible verse. One, just one, where Jesus said, my birthday is December 25th, and go spend your whole life savings on December 25th. Show me one verse. But I can take you to Jeremiah, where it says, don't put up any evergreen trees, that it's paganism. I can show you that. So no, we don't celebrate no Christmas. Because you shouldn't be celebrating it. It's a pagan holiday. Jesus will come back, he would be lost. Number one, his birthday wasn't December 25th. An evil man by the name of Nimrod, who used to have sex with his own mother from Babylon. That's his birthday. You hear what I said? Not Jesus' birthday. No such thing as Christmas. No such thing as no fat white man coming down your chimney giving gifts. How would he circumvent the whole earth in one night with billions of people and billions of children? It's a fairy tale. And it's shirk. He knows when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows when you've been bad or good. So be good for goodness sake. Hell no. Only God knows when you're asleep. Only he knows when you're awake. And only he knows when you've been bad or good. So even saying that phrase that we've been taught is shirk. Associating partners with God, putting someone or something on the level, giving someone or something attributes that only God has. That's why when someone passes away, even if it's your own mother or father or brother or sister, I just lost my mother, I just told you, Sister Shahida, who I call Omi, that's how you say mom in Arabic, who introduced me to Islam 26 years ago. You should not, listen to me on this, family. We should not, even if it's someone close to our family, we should not say if someone has passed away, I know they're going to heaven. I'll wait. I know I'm stepping on some toes, but I'm telling you the truth. You should not say, no matter who it is, even if it's your own child that you birthed, unless they are a baby. A baby hasn't committed any sin. We should not be saying that I know so-and-so is in heaven. How do you know that? I'll wait. How do you know that someone is going to heaven? You don't know that unless God has sent you a message from above and said, Miss Mary that just died down the street, she's going, how do you know that? Someone could be a child molester. Someone could have unjustifiably killed someone and you ain't know it. Only God knows your every action, your every word, your every deed, and only He is qualified to balance out your good and your bad deeds. So only He is qualified to enter someone into the pearly gates. It just blows my mind when I go to these funerals. And I'm going to be there one day. It's coming. It's coming upon all of us. But I'm just saying, when I go to these funerals and they say, I know so-and-so is in heaven. How do you know that? How can you balance out someone's good and bad deeds and enter them into the everlasting life? You don't know. Even if it's your husband, you ain't with him every second, every hour. You weren't with him before you married him. No one knows everyone's deeds. If you go to someone's funeral and only 5 people are there, does that mean that they're not qualified to go to the Most High? Because they could have fed a village and you just ain't know it. But God knows it. If only 5 people was there, that's no indicator of what kind of life they lived and where they going. Because they could have fed a whole village. It only means that only 5 people took time out of their day that day to come to that person's funeral. And on the flip side, you could go to someone's funeral and 10,000 people are there. Does that mean that that's an automatic ticket for them to go to the pearly gates? No. It could have been a child molester. They could have died upon shirk, which in Islam means, again, associating partners with God or whatever. You don't know. Just because 10,000 people was there, that don't mean that gives them a ticket. And just because the pastor is up there falling all over the place and that don't mean nothing. He ain't God. None of us are qualified to enter someone into the pearly gates. We should say, the proper thing to say is, I hope and I pray that so-and-so is in paradise. I hope and pray that the good that they did, that the Most High accepts it, and the bad that they did, God will forgive it and enter them. I hope not they are, because we don't know that. Unless you got some kind of special relationship with the Most High that I don't know about. We don't know if someone is entering into paradise. Only God knows. So for someone to even utter something like that is outside the boundaries. He knows when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. Talking about this fake Santa Claus. And then we got the nerve to tell our children to tell the truth. But we telling them a lie and still living the lie going into 2020. No such thing as Christmas, and you know better. You know better. You know better. You know this is pagan. You know it's not of a God. You can't find one verse in the Bible that says anything about any December 25th. Jesus knew nothing of it, and that wasn't even his birthday. So don't look at us sideways when we say, no, we don't celebrate that. You shouldn't be celebrating it either. It's false. Phony is a $3 bill. It just is. One last time. Any questions for your brother about my conversion to Islam? You read this or you read that, or you seen this, you seen that. You heard this, you heard that. I'm not no scholar. If I don't have the answer, I'll gladly get it for you. I have a lot of resources. But this is an open conversation. I'm talking about how I put on a new coat December 20, New Year's Eve of 1993. December 31st of 1993 is when I converted to Islam. In a few short days, I'll be celebrating my 26th year anniversary of converting to Islam. December 31st, 1993. This year, a couple of days will be 26 years. And I'm just opening up the floor if anyone has any questions for me. If not, I'm signing off. I pray that everyone is healthy, mentally, physically, and spiritually, going into 2020. And do your own research. It won't hurt you to pick up the Quran. It won't hurt you to use your smartphone to Google something smart and to increase your knowledge. And you do with it what you want. It's your free will. There's no compulsion. But I'll leave you in peace as I came. Assalamu alaikum, which simply means peace unto you.